Dish Nation.
I'm here with an incredible guest that needs no introduction. You may have seen him on American Horror Story. You may have seen him on Will and Grace. He is now the darling of Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, Leslie Jordan.
Hello. Wee. So glad to be here. Thank you.
How are you today?
Well, I'm doing really good. Yesterday was my birthday, so it was kind of hectic. You know, you can't complain when you're getting, texts after my phone pinged all day long. But the one person I waited on, I didn't hear from, Dolly. I love Dolly Parton, but I've never gotten to meet her. But over the years, I'm probably her biggest fan. So one day soon,
you've got to meet her. How have you not met her? You have to meet her.
It's a story that we couldn't go into. It would take so long about how many. I should do a one-man show about trying to meet Dolly over the years.
Are you exercising any power now that you have all these Instagram? You have over 4 million followers. Does it make you feel powerful?
Here's the good news. Because I have a job coming up, this would mean so much more if I thought, wow, I could parlay this into a job. No, I have the best job in the world. I start on a series on Fox called Call Me Cat, which is Swoosie Kurtz and Mayim Bialik as a mother-daughter duo. And Swoosie's fancy. She goes to the races. It takes place in Louisville, Kentucky. And she's very fancy, and she wants her daughter to get married, and that's Mayim. And mine is 39 years old and perfectly happy to not be married. And so she buys, with her dowry, she buys a cat cafe. And I wrangle the
And how was it wrangling that, Leslie? How was it?
We haven't shot it yet.
It's coming this fall on Fox, right here on Fox.
Yeah, they're talking about a June. We're going to start shooting June, maybe even August. We'll have to wait. I said, oh, no, that's too far away. We cannot wait till August. But anyway, yes, it's coming.
All right, so I want to do a little word association game with you. So I'm going to say a word, and you say the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Pilot season.
Done with. Done.
Karen Walker.
Bitch.
Emmy Awards.
Got one.
Robert Downey Jr.
Sweet.
Octavia Spencer.
Hilarious.
How about Zoom dating? What are your thoughts on Zoom dating?
Well, I wouldn't know what to do. Because, see, you talk, and then they talk, and then they're face back. But I talk over. I don't know. I think it would be very confusing.
When you started making some serious dough, what was the first splurge what did you buy? What was your big splurge with that big check?
I bought a silver, and I called it a Celica. It was the Toyota Celica. It was the first year it came out. And I can remember driving that off of the lot thinking it was a convertible, a Toyota Celica. And now, I have a beautiful BMW, brand new hardtop convertible. It's nothing like that first one, that silver Celica.
Yeah. You earned it, Leslie. Thank you so much. But first, there's more Dish Nation after the break. See you guys. Who were some of the famous people that sent you happy birthday messages?
Oh my gosh, let's see. Chelsea Handler, Justin Long, Michelle Pfeiffer, and David. I've done a lot of David Kelly shows over the years. Almost every show he's done. He's been a real big supporter of my career. Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh my gosh, who else?
What about some of your favorite straight boys?
I said Barbara Streisand, but I made that up.
Oh, Barbara Streisand. She's next. She's gonna wish you next, probably. You've talked about kind of how you were bullied, back in the day, and now you just celebrated your 60th birthday, and you are sorry, but you're like fucking living the life right now at this stage in your life. What does that feel like?
Well, I've said that I was bullied quite a bit. It was the kind of thing that I knew I had a secret. I was always very popular, but I learned to be funny to kind of keep the bullies at bay. So it was I was always popular, but that there was just a feeling of any second now, any second now, they're going to beat me up and throw me in the ditch. Never happened, really. I've talked about it before. I just make things up. But because my sisters will say, you were the most popular boy in school. Yeah, but I was so scared all the time. But anyway, now I have to say that I'm 65 years old as of yesterday, and I'm more comfortable in my skin than I've ever been. Now, I attribute a lot of that to 22 years of sobriety, after my unfortunate incarceration, which we won't have time to go into. But during the 22 years that I've been completely sober, it's also been a journey into sort of my queerdom, because I realized when I got sober that there was just so much internal homophobia. You know what I mean? I had a friend one time that said to me, you seem to not, we were talking about something about gay men. And I said, well, I don't care when people are like really, really effeminate. And they're like, hello. Well, I had forgotten I was a sissy. So I've been reminded of that and embraced that. And, that's not a bad word. It's just, there was so much shame around that. That's what I am. I'm an old sissy. That's what I am.
You're our old sissy. You're our old sissy, Leslie.
Yes.
Wait, now, weren't you incarcerated with Robert Downey Jr.?
I gave him a bed. I have embellished that story so many times. The exact truth is, well, I had an unfortunate incarceration, and I was sentenced to 120 days for several indiscretions I'd really rather not discuss. But this was 22 years ago, and they came up to me after 12 days, and they said, Mr. Jordan, we have good news. You're out. We got Robert Downey Jr. downstairs, but we don't have a bed. And so you're going to get his bed. And so we passed in, just like the holding rooms and everything, but I didn't make a fuss. But then on Ally McBeal, all those years later, I went up to him. I said, do you remember me? And he said, no. And I said, 152, Pod A, cell 13. You were on the top bunk. He said, oh, my God. And so he goes, you wrote me a letter. And I had completely forgotten that I had written him a letter, because I was the only person privy to his current address, and
right.
There was a kid that was really getting teased who was HIV positive on our cell block, and I would take up for him. And I kept thinking, oh, what's going to happen to that poor kid when I leave? And I wrote a letter to Robert to watch after him. And he was so sweet. He said that he had already been transferred to another. He didn't get to meet him or help him out, the kid. But he was so sweet. And so anyway, that's
you
my
you gave Iron Man your bed.
I gave him my bed. I kind of feel responsible for his success, but
all right, so I understand that you were on Celebrity Big Brother UK. Did it prep you for quarantine?
Oh, it was such a bad experience. I don't know what I thought. They said, we're going to lock you in a house in 20 minutes outside London. And I felt like Downton Abbey. I don't know but it was terrible. It was just a sound stage, and we were locked in there, and I didn't know anybody except for Gary Busey was the other guy, and from America. And I did not get along with him. He may be a lovely person. I don't know. Locked up 24/7 I was there 12 days before I got kicked out from my awful behavior. They accused me of spitting on Gary, and I didn't. I promise you I didn't spit on him. He made a noise like cleared his throat, and I thought, but anyway, it didn't prepare me. No, this was much quieter in my little place in WeHo. And that was drama that nobody needs, like a circus that wouldn't leave town.
But I wanted to ask you, because of your experience in drag, there's now RuPaul does a celebrity drag race. Could we see you on Celebrity Drag Race?
Oh, I don't think so. When I did the Tammy Wynette project, that was almost 30 years ago. And I was tiny and pretty. And if I had to shoehorn my fat ass into some kind of, you know, Spanx, no, thank you. No, thank you.
No, you're not into it. It's not into it.
No. Also, I'll just show you real fast. I would have to clip like a Shetland pony. I'm covered. They'd have to clip me head to toe, or I'd be like the hairy woman in the circus.
What about like kind of words of wisdom you'd give to the kids out there? Because there's a lot of kids watching you now because they're seeing you on Instagram. So what would you say to those people who are maybe a little shy and they're just trying to be themselves?
I think the wonderful thing today is that they have so many platforms to join in, you know, with others, you know, whatever you're interested in. And it wasn't like that when I was a kid, you know. I also have gotten very involved with GLSEN, GLSEN, which is some teachers banded together. And I think that's a wonderful organization. I'm working with them. And so if you're having problems, you know, with the LGBTQ, LMNOP youth, you've got that wonderful organization. Another organization I'm working with that is my pet project. When I got sober, I'm a little ashamed to admit, I was 42 years old and I had never registered to vote. Who had time? You know, we were out of the bars and 42. And now I realized that my generation marched in the street and we carried on and acted out. And that's fine to draw attention to your cause. But the change comes from within. And kids have to learn you register to vote, and it's important. And then you have a voice. So that's what I would say.
So vote, people, especially now. It's very important to vote.
Vote.